Hello and welcome. We are back for Ultimate League. We've had the mid-season break. That is done. Don't Matt. Matty, he's crashed into the wall on lap 0. What a fantastic start to quali. Um, wow.
Dream.
The wall just turned in on him. Yeah, let me do stream. So, welcome back to Ultimate League. This is, in case you were not aware, round 6. We are back from the mid-season break. It should be an absolute banger here at Parc Mota Castelloli, the Spanish Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Marian Frias, our resident Spaniard, not here today. So that is a big hit for the racing world, but we'll see how her replacement does in Vinci, who, after the first lap, is in P15. He's making his UL debut today, as is, I believe, Lolo. I think, unless he raced last season. We are on the second lap of qualifying. Nuno and Hernandi, the LSAs, provisionally locking out the front row. A .63 and a .65, but I feel like there's at least 3/10 more in that pole time if somebody puts in a special lap. It's always possible. As they come around the final corner, this will be the second lap. Hernandi puts in a .27. What a lap time from the LSA driver. Nuno also improves, but he's still a 10th off his teammate. It's Charles JT and then Kada in his first race post grid drop ban, which was put in place to make sure that drivers were not being impeded by the man stalling on the grid. Up in 4th place in qualifying. Then it is Anti, Danimator, Buddha, Jiruni, and Sexy Digger and Gorlomi, who's been having some issues prior to the race and may be told to DNF if connection is too much of a worry. But let's see who is going to be on pole position here. Unchanged largely at the front. A few improvements up and down the grid. It's a front row lockout for Levioso Sports Star, a .27 and a .37. 1/10 is all that separates the Hungarian and Portuguese drivers at the front of the field. Charge JT will start in 3rd. Danimator improved at the end. He's a 10th ahead of Kada, starts 4th ahead of the Colombian in 5th. Then it's Buda with Kada in the Mayhem sandwich. The Estonian will start from 6th position ahead of Kraf. Then Antti Jiruni up in 9th for Rapid Motorsport. Sexy Digger standing in for Lynx this race in 10th position. Gorlomi ahead of Corvid. And then it's Kado. Matimar, then Jurist, and our new drivers Lololo and Vinci start 16th and 18th with Grandi between them, exactly 1 second from pole to P18. Interesting qualifying session. The LSA drivers looking to carry on what has been a strong-ish season for them so far, but Hernandi with just the 1 podium so far. It was a win, of course, in round 4. Nuno, on the other hand, has got a podium in every race, but not one. Mayhem looking to continue their lead. 6 points they are out in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. 213.5 over 207.5 using the half-point system, which deserves its own special place in hell. If we want to get a bit of a verdict on that qualifying session. Juan, fancy weighing in on that? What are your expectations for the race?
I don't fucking know. Someone's gonna get dived, obviously.
Sounds good to me.
I guess someone go get popcorn because it's gonna be fun.
I think that is exactly right. I think this will be thoroughly entertaining. So Sexy Digger in for his second race of the season. He did get P9 last time out in round 5. He is finally back and he's not at the back of the grid. Him and Kada breathing a big sigh of relief today as that ban finally lifted off them. Frozeni, I believe, is taking part in another series, the Turbo Sliders F3 Cup, which means he's unavailable for today. Of course, many of our drivers are multi-talented, racing across a variety of open wheeler series and closed cockpit as well. Trackmania drivers, famous ones such as Grandi and Charge JT, luckily are with us on the grid here today, although seemingly at opposite ends. Let's talk about Scuderia Paracaro. They are up in 3rd place in the championship, tied but ahead on tiebreak of FGR. Because they do have that P2 scored by JT in the first race of the season, with FGR's best results P3s for Corvid and Marion in rounds 3 and 4. The start of the race. We're underway here. 17 cars take the start. JT gets a good start. He's passed Nuno nearly. Danimator and Kada. Buda Going to look to go up the inside here, and he does. He takes a position off JT. Kraf also in there. Kata fighting over third with the Estonian Buddha inches and inches ahead. He's going to send it up the inside of Nuno, going into the hairpin as they unghost. Nuno will retain the position. He takes the long route round the outside of the double right-hander. He's going to bump into the back of his teammate. That kills his momentum, and Buddha will jump up into second position. Kata into third now. Nuno fighting this pack. It's Kraf, it's JT, it's Sexy Digger, it's 4 wide into turn 1. Kraf rather, onto the grass on the inside of the apex. Buddha up the inside of Hernandi, and he's gone immediately from about 5th position all the way up to 1st. Back down to 2nd now he goes. Sexy Digger also a meteoric rise. He's made up 5 positions. Jaruni made up a few positions as well. As they file out, he's right behind Nuno. Kata on the outside switches to the inside, and Jaruni will take 4th position here. Sexy Digger ahead. It's Kato, the Matimar anti-amazing. This is a recipe for disaster. Going through here. Kato forced slightly wide. Oh, Corvid slammed into the wall there as well. He's down into last place. Somebody crashed off the grid. I'm not exactly sure who. Buddha, then Jaruni and Kata. Nuno forced wide by Sexy Digger. He won't be pleased about that. Getting a bit hot under the collar. It's side by side for the Neon Sunset cars. It's Lololo and it's Matimar. Into the hairpin they go, and this is a big pack of cars. JT and Kraf actually forced wide, and that means JT is now all the way down in 16th, and Eurus and Kato off, and they're taking out Corvid and Grandi as collateral as well, going back up to the top. Hernandi is in the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix after a weird start there. Buddha, then Jaruni, Sexy Digger, then Kata is your top 5. Nuno, then Danimator, Lololo, Anti, Kraf and JT, who have made back up 6 positions in that half a lap that we were panning away from them. Must have been some crashes towards the rear end of the field. I believe it is Vinci who has not taken the start. Vinci is not in the lobby and has not taken the start. FGR are a driver down. Hernandi still leads. Buddha, Sexy Digger, then Kata, Jaruni up in 4th position. Now, he's not actually finished in the top 10 this season, as far as I'm aware. No, 14th, 13th, 11th, 14th, and 18th for him so far. He's looking for a good finish here. His enemy, Rain, might just come a cropper with him, though. Right at the back is Golomi, Grandi, Corvid, and Eurus in a pack there. The Neon Sunset Racing cars. Next to Danimator, who's had a poor start. Kato in 10th, then it's Anti, Kraf, and JT. Hernandi with Sexy Digger and the LSA sandwich. Jaruni defending the inside through the final corner. He's in 3rd. Hernandi, who was in 1st, is now down into 6th position. He's lost 5 places on lap 5. Jaruni might be looking at a move here on Kata potentially, or will he just bide his time? No, he does go up the inside of the Colombian into the hairpin. He can't maintain it through that left-hand sweeper, though. This is his circuit. He should know it like the back of his hand. As they go across the bridge, how will the ghosting change things? Pretty much unchanged as they go through their little jump here and there. Jaruni still behind Kata. Buddha still your race leader as it stands. Nuno wide, he might allow his teammate through. It's Sexy Digger now, up the inside of Jero into the very, very fast, very nearly flat out right-hander. Kata, though, got held up by Buddha. That allows Jero up into 2nd position. Kata will take that back immediately. Sexy Digger looks a profit, and Nuno sends a dive bomb up the inside and will take the position at the hairpin. Sexy Digger, then Hernandi, JT, and Kraf, the SCPs, currently running in 7th and 8th place. An interesting start to this Grand Prix. Further down the order, Corvid, then Eurus and Anti. Corvid and Eurus are right at the back. They've made up a good few positions. Grandi, then Kato, Matti, then Lololo, and it's Danimator down in 16th position. Golomi, and then we've got a big train of cars who have all come into the pit lane. The softs are worn out. Corvid has decided not to go in, but a huge pack. It was every single driver pretty much. The soft is a meta tyre here. Eurus on the hard stayed out, and Corvid with a slight alt strategy on the soft has also stayed out. He was in the lead. He's now in 2nd. He will continue to fall down. Eurus was up there. He's now actually got to let his teammate Sexy Digger through. Does get slightly swept off the track and then sweeps Eurus off himself. I'm sure we'll see a clip of that post-race. JT and Hernandi going through the fast right-hander penultimate corner. Corvid now into the pit lane. How did that overcut work out for him? He was in 10th place. He was fighting Eurus. He's going to fall down to about 13th here. It might be 14th. Anti right into the back of the Australian. As he comes up to him, Danimator, Gorlomi and Grandi, your back 3. Kata is the leader of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's Buddha and Nuno, 2 heavyweight drivers in the championship so far this season. Kada, one of the newfound talents, but really showing amazing pace. He's actually finished 12th in 4 of the 5 races so far this season, but nonetheless has looked very solid and is looking finally at a good result. That will be a lap lead for him and the Flow Force team. Great to see that. Buda behind Nuno. He's going to look for a move potentially into the fast right-hander or the hairpin here at the Castelloli circuit. Park Morta. Sexy Digger just behind Jaruni. He's going to shape up for a move. The Belarusian running in 4th at the moment. As mentioned, not had a finish in the top 10 so far this season. Finished last race, dead last, no points, 18th place in France. His French teammate Cadeau only managed 11th after a P3 in qualifying. Kraft looking for a potential move. Cadeau just run wide. I think that might have been the doing of Urist, or Cadeau's just taking some unorthodox racing lines, but they're going to be pretty much 3 wide. And Urist actually on a slightly, well, no, he's on a very old tyre. I thought he pitted, but he clearly hasn't. They're ahead of Matti, Corvid, Lololo, Grandi, Anti-Danimator, and Gorlomi. The front 3, not quite as they were. Kada down to 3rd position now on lap 11 of 42, and those softs are going to be just starting to wear a little bit. It's an interesting track, most definitely, just to have all of the strategy be quite similar. Urus is the only driver not to pit, and he was he's the only driver, I think, at the race start who didn't take the who didn't take the soft compound tyre, so he is still yet to pit, and he's going to be hoping for some rain, but it is sunny skies here. The hot mid-afternoon Spanish sun beating down on the drivers, who I'm sure would love a siesta at the moment, but no time for napping here, as Matti catches Urus napping, goes up the inside with a fantastic move there. Grip levels, of course, vastly different, and up the inside of Cadeau he goes too. That's 2 moves for Matti Mar. Corvid right in the background, Kraft alongside him. Going to look a little bit further up the field as Cadeau goes into the pit lane. He is an early second stopper. Nobody has taken their second stop so far, apart from the Frenchman. Nuno is yet to win a race so far this season. He is on a streak of 4 consecutive 4th place finishes, not dissimilar to Serenate/Nomskar from season 8, rounds 6 to 9, finishing second place every race. Finally, getting the only ever UL Grand Slam at the Hell Valley race, the final race of the season, Schwarzwald Grand Prix. Nuno looking to not extend that run any longer and take the record for the most consecutive second place finishes, which I'm sure it would be. Jaruni has fallen down. He didn't come into the pit lane, but he has been shuffled back behind JT and, of course, Sexy Digger, who is looking very fast for the Lynx Racing team, who have had only 1 finish inside the top 10 so far this season. That was the hands of Sexy Digger last race. Pumpkin conveniently not available to race once again today, so Sexy Digger is in the seat again. JT, Hinandi and Jaruni slinging it around the double right-hander through the middle sector of the lap, just past the overpass. Who will be into the lane? A lot of them. Buda and Nuno and Sexy Digger and Kraft and Jaruni and JT and Hinandi all into the lane. Nobody directly behind them came in, which is interesting. Sorry, I'm panning around a little bit too much here, but hope you're appreciating the racing action that we've got on our hands. Jaruni right behind JT now. Anti there as well. He's on the hard. He was one of a few drivers to pick the hard for the second stint. We've now got joining him on the hard JT and Kraft, as well as Cadeau, who's just put on the hard, and Lololo and Urist as well. Buda leads from Nuno. These are the 2 drivers looking really fast here, sort of echoes of season 11 really in the final few races, particularly the Kimi Ring race. They were almost exactly matching each other lap after lap after lap. The gap was very little fluctuation between the 2, and it was one lucky rain call that did mean Nuno clutched the victory. Let's see what they do as the rain is about to pour down onto the circuit. We've had clouds for a little bit now. We've got a big train from 3rd downwards, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, all still hanging in that slipstream, and Kraft was forced wide there. He's lost a couple positions. Hinandi doesn't come into the pit lane, so he was on the outside of Kada. Ooh, that looks to be the right call. The rain is going away, and we've not got that much standing water. It's into for Buda. Kada came in and chose the softs. Similarly, Sexy Digger on the inter. Kado stayed out. Jaruni, I think maybe did a drive-through or stayed out. I'm not exactly sure, but a big lack of grip for these drivers. It's going to be difficult fighting Matimar and Jaruni at the moment. Corvi was forced off a little earlier. Kado didn't come in, but these intermediate runners, and Buda, who's looking really, really good, isn't even going to catch up to Hernandi this lap. He's surely going to stay out one more lap on the intermediate because that tyre is actually not too bad when it comes to the full slick conditions. It can handle itself pretty well, but it does perform a bit like a worn slick once you're really getting into the echelons of drying track. So Buda still in second. He's not going to catch Nuno before the track fully dries up. Nuno on a slightly worn soft. Buda, you can see the skidding that he's getting on that intermediate, and I have very little doubt he will be into the pit lane this lap unless he's planning on pulling a big gamble, waiting for rain to come back. But it's sunny skies for the Estonian. He'll have to face his pit crew once again on lap 18. Buda is back into the pits, and that is a big blow. He was right behind Nuno, pitted, didn't even catch Nuno's slipstream, and must pit once more. JT and Kada pile through right at the last there. It looked like he was going to get a really nice gap, actually, about 4.5 seconds from Kada to Hernandi. As it is, he will get some traffic on those fresh softs, and I have to see how he dispatches that because these drivers are, of course, running their own race. Kada is holding him up just that little bit now. Get a closer little look at this, see how the drivers behave. Kada is not going to put up too much of a fight through that particular set of corners, but will take the position back from the Mayhem driver. Buda really trying to force a move here now. Kada is not letting it go. Buda up the inside at the final corner. A little bit of jumping around as it is. JT will just let him through, I believe, unless he really screwed up turn 1, but he needs to be careful of pressure behind from Kada. Kada is still going for a move rather than sitting in the slipstream of the two drivers ahead. Takes a little bit of grass, and it looks like he might just be in a little bit of a rocket as well. How will they come out of this corner? Kada is really looking. He's jumping at the bit. He thinks on those soft tyres he will have better pace than JT, who's on a much, much fresher medium. Interesting. LSA, as they were on the grid, 1 and 2. Flipped around, though. Hernandi, our pole sitter, now down to second. The rain is coming back. I don't think it would have been soon enough for Buda to be able to extend those inters all the way to this stage in the race, but he's going to be holding a little bit of regret that that was the gamble that he pulled, as it was with, I believe, Kraft and Sexy Digger. I'm not entirely sure. Definitely Kraft. He's down in 8th place. Jaruni now in 10th place. Lololol making his debut today. I think he's Spanish. Puts on the wets immediately. That is a ballsy call. Let's see if he can undercut someone with that. He's second and a bit behind Gorlomi, so if the rain really does intensify, it will come straight to him. The LSAs are in this time. Does Buda have PTSD and decide not to pit? No. He will go in. Surely we'll have someone not pitting. No. Like a good little bunch of AI cars. They're all in for the intermediate tyres to fit with the conditions. How lovely. And this will completely wipe the strategy board absolutely clean here. Nuno leads from Hernandi. Buda is in third, but with a nearly 5-second gap and 2 extra pit stops compared to the LSAs ahead. That is pretty crushing for the man who has won every single race in which he has participated in so far this season, which is just an incredible record for the Estonian to hold. Yeah, he's a very talented man, that Buda. Right ahead of JT at the moment, having little jumps in the broadcast, so I do apologise for those. But deal with it. Nuno still leads ahead of Hernandi. We'll have a look at some juicy mid-pack action. That's definitely some Buda teleportation from what I can see. We've been on board with him quite a lot of the time when we've had these jumps. Then it is Corvid following Kada, not really following actually. They are side by side through that hairpin. Kada up the inside, uses the ghost to his advantage. They will probably do one more lap. Massima, in all of his wisdom, out on the hard compound tyre, has nearly been caught by his Neon Sunset teammate, and there goes Lololol with first of many big overtakes on a teammate, I'm sure, in Ultimate League. It's great to see him up in the top tier of racing. Massima will, of course, stay out. He is on the dry tyres. Every driver from 8th downwards has now come in for some slick tyres. And I have no doubt Sextiga will be reclaiming his place higher up the grid. These drivers, very experienced, but an intermediate tyre on a dry track is not the easiest thing in the world. Oh, lovely double stack there for the LSAs. Look at that. That is racing heritage as they come in line astern and get their tyres perfectly. God, I love that team. Buda comes in, goes out ahead of JT. The Brit chasing down the Estonian for a spot on the podium. JT with just the one podium to his name so far this season. That was in the opening round, the Brazilian Grand Prix, I believe. Yeah. Sexy Digger looking for a potential high finish up the grid. JT missed a race and finished outside the top 10. Sexy Digger up into 4th position as it stands. 9th place was his finish last race. And then before that, 6th place at round 4 of last season as well, which I believe is his career highest finish. So he might be able to better that today. Take a good performance from him, but it would definitely help Lynx out in the constructors' standings. They have had a pretty miserable start to the season. As it stands, they are still bottom of the championship, and they are a good 21 points behind the Rapid Motorsport Collective. Nuno from Hernandi, then JT and Sexy Digger, not much change there. Danimator, Kada and Corvid all looking at a bit of scrapping here. Kada is really just going for it this race, and I think that is part of the new confidence that you get from, obviously, the netcode's been improved. That will help the Colombian as well as the Australian that he's alongside, who has been accused of drink driving so far today, and with moves like that into the grass, you couldn't exactly dispel that. It goes right up the inside and actually gets a double overtake done. That's pretty impressive. Kada and Danny right behind. Kraft trying to hold off Caddo there. The Finn and the Frenchman side by side as they go into that corner. Number 51 car just getting through. Kraft now in an RMC sandwich right in the middle of the track pretty much. It is 9th and 11th for the men in orange. Anti ahead of Matty. Anti not doing too well, down in 12th place. In recent seasons he has finished outside the top 10, but it is not by any stretch of the imagination a common occurrence for the man who has only finished in 6th and 8th so far this season. Very much reminiscent of season 5 and 6. His consistency in those positions was unparalleled pretty much. LSA cars looking to make this track their own, fighting back at Mayhem in the driver's stand, in the constructors standings. They're 6 points adrift. They won't be if they could take a 1-2 here, I can tell you that for free. Buddha, though, looking to damage limitation here. Danimator needs to pull his weight a little bit more and get through on these high pingers, get some proper points on the board. Caddo, Kraft, Jiruni, and Anti. Look at this pack of cars. Kraft up the inside. A little tyre check for you will tell you that Caddo is on somewhat worn hards. Kraft similarly so, and a little bit more wear for Jiruni's softs and Anti's hards as well. So it's a big slipstream train. It's Golomi, who was seen teleporting earlier, but is now fine. Alongside Eurus, they go side by side into the corner. Eurus will just try and be cautious here, but he will still try to go around the outside. Didn't think he was going to get that done on a slower and older tyre, but there we go. Grandy is made up a couple positions, well, maybe one or two, yeah. Matima ahead of Lololo, not a good showing for the Neon Sunset Racing team so far today. Fight for 5th, let's have a look. Corvid versus Kada. This has given us our best battle so far today as they go through the bizarrely patterned green and white checker pattern of that hairpin right before the overpass as they lift up over the section of the track that runs just after turn 1. Buddha is into the pit lane. He's in 4th position at the moment. There's 11 laps to go, so of course, well, 12 laps to go. So he's going to go for 2 stints on the soft. He's definitely teleporting, but he is not on course for a race win due to that early rain in which he gambled and lost. Hernandi has closed the gap to Nuno just a little bit, but it's keeping it nice and respectful. This could be Nuno's win. He won, of course, in Spain all the way back in Season 6, Round 9, and that was the win that confirmed him as a 2-time champion of the world. He is leading the driver's standings, looking for a 6th title this season, but yet to find a race win, bizarrely enough. This surely will be it. We have 10 or 11 laps to go. Hernandi came in. It's a double stack for the LSAs. JT closes that gap a little bit, but not enough to get into slipstream, which is a well-managed gap by the two drivers in red. And I think Matty actually... Oh, that ghosting looks mighty sus. I cannot lie. Sexy Digger, very charitably letting 3 cars through as he takes the inside grass. That was kind of him. Caddo up in 6th position. He finished 11th. He's actually got RMC's only top 10 finish of the season so far, which he bagged at round 3 at the Czech Grand Prix, or as I called it, the Polish Grand Prix. Anti just behind Caddo, and then Kraf, Kada, and then Jiruni, Eurus, Matimar, who is now ahead of Grandy, and Gorlomi battling the Spanish-speaking driver. Hernandi has taken the hards. He is going to the end. This is an interesting split strategy. Finally, we do have a fun bit of strategy here. Hernandi will go to the end. He had about 10 or 11 laps. I think it is 11. Nuno opted to go 5 and 6, I think he'll do. Better to get an undercut. He doesn't really have to worry about Buda unless, unless Buda has the pace to catch Hernandi, which he will have the chance to do, definitely with Hernandi on a two-step harder tyre. And then Hernandi feels the urge to let Buda carry him with a bit of slipstream. Buda has had good pace in this race and has closed back up somewhat to that front pack. I believe he was 6 seconds off Nuno previously. It's now about 5, so it's varied. I don't think that that will be the first thing on Nuno's mind, since he does have that 4-second gap. But he needs to be careful, because Buda giving Hernandi a tow here could put Nuno's race at risk. Once Nuno does have to pit, he will come out behind Hernandi. And then, well, we'll see what happens there. He is completely at the mercy of the rain, taking that extra pit stop and ceding track position. The rain, of course, will reset everything. So expect to see him in next lap, if not this lap. He has now lapped 4.2 seconds is Hernandi behind him, and Buda on the softs, which are now considerably worse for wear than the hards of Hernandi, will not get any slipstream and will have to settle for, at best, third. Danimator has made a pretty heroic storm up, actually. He's on slightly older softs than Kada, but is still very much in there for 4th and 5th positions. This would be an amazing finish for the Flowforce driver, who's just had such poor luck being made to start at the back every race. Nuno and Buda both into the pit lane. Hernandi, of course, was always ahead of Buda, but now finally is ahead of his teammate. He's not going to let Nuno get away easy here. Nuno is the championship leader. Hernandi is his teammate. Those two facts are mutually exclusive. Hernandi is 4th in the championship because he actually has come to every race, but hasn't finished on the podium more than once, and only has 2 finishes in the top 5 all season so far. So it's not great form from the Hungarian driver, who's maybe tipped as one of the favourites to take his first championship. But this would revitalise it, definitely. In fact, he could, by getting about 8 points over Buda here, he would overtake him in the standings. Wouldn't quite catch Danny, but you never know. Hernandi needs rain pronto, or he needs an incredible stint in which he can somehow slip Nuno for about 4 laps and then re-overtake him on the final lap, which he'd have to get pretty desperate and elbows outy to do. He needs rain now in order to give him this race win, because Nuno, as they go down the main straight up the inside, Hernandi doesn't cede the position, but doesn't put up much defence. He is looking for that slipstream, and he's going to just try and hang on with the tyres, taking nice wide lines through corners, allowing the rears just to slide that little bit more and not overdo them so as to lose speed that he should be carrying through the corner. He is still in slipstream, but he needs urgent rain. This is a very technical part of the track, and the hard tyre is no match for Nuno's soft. In fact, I think he might just have lost slip as Nuno comes out of the final corner. Does Hernandi have it down the main straight? He is teetering on the edge of it, 5 tenths back when you need 4, and Hernandi clips the grass at the inside of turn 1. That is all but confirming the race win for Nuno the second. Nuno, the first place driver in this race, and Nuno maybe, well, they call him, oh, hello. Oh, he wants a bit of a fight. There we go. We've got a race on our hands, ladies and gents. Nuno. I think what he thinks has happened is that he forced Hernandi onto the grass at the inside of turn 1. Either that, or he just wants a nice scrap for the win. But you would think, for a man who has yet to take victory so far this season, it is a risky play. He does know his teammate is a good, yeah, he's like 40 points behind him in the standings. So it's not a make or break situation necessarily. 35-ish points. But yeah. Thank you, Nuno. This gives me more to commentate on. What a lovely, kind, generous man. The LSA drivers locked in fierce battle here right at the end. This will be a fascinating run to the line. It has echoes of Lausitzring Season 8, echoes of the Mossport Season... not Mossport, what am I thinking of? Alton Park Season 12. Hernandi runs wide onto the grass. Will that take him out of slipstream? Not quite. He might just have the possibility of getting Nuno as they go through this wide, somewhat banked right-handed. Hernandi make the move here. He's swerving around. He's trying to put Nuno off, distract his teammate, force him to crash into a wall maybe as they go through the technical sector of the track. Hernandi sticks in. Nuno with a bit of grass. Can Hernandi send it up the inside for one final attempt? Closes up to him, but it's not going to be enough. Nuno, for the first time in Season 14, is your race winner. It's an LSA 1-2 ahead of Buda, who only was about 3 seconds back in the end, but Nuno, of course, did give that bit of time back. It's JT with a 4th place finish. Kada a career best 5th. What a great performance from the young Colombian driver. So impressive. Sexy Digger did take 6th in the end. It was Corvid ahead of Danimator, and he climbed back into the top 10. Kraft also there. Then it's Caddo and Juruni, the RMC drivers, once again missing out on the top 10. We'll give you the full results as we get them. Should be now. 1-2 for LSA. Buda on the podium 2. That extends Nuno's championship lead by a good few points indeed. Danimator, who was up in 4th, had to pit again. Fell back down to 8th. Very close pack. Look at that fight from 5th all the way back to 10th. That is a lot of drivers, 6 drivers separated by about 2.5 seconds or just under that. That is incredible. I'm really sorry I didn't get a video of that photo finish before anyone berates me. Corvid, Danimator, Anti and Kraft, Caddo, Juruni with the fastest lap. That is some consolation. Then it's Grandi, finished 13th. Matimar, 14th. Gorlomi in 15th. Ahead of Urist, who was a few seconds in the end, ahead of Lololol, and Kubo, who wasn't even here today, somehow managed to take home an 18th place finish. Good for him. Right, interviews time. Let's get this going. I'll take the okay, screenshot, class. Who's here? Oh, hi Nuno. You slowed down at the end. Can you give us a reason as to why?
Oh, it's very simple. Hernandi was on 11 lap hards in the end, and I have like very fresh socks, the same as Buda, and I lost Hernandi. Like Hernandi made a mistake and he lost my slipstream, and he was like losing quite a lot. So I did it so he could get back to slipstream, and so Buda wouldn't catch us.
Oh, I thought you were doing that to give us like a nice little scrap at the end for the race win.
I wouldn't do that after losing for so much time.
Yeah. Okay,
So
sorry,
yeah,
that
this
does make
was
more
to
sense.
this was to keep the 1-2 in the end.
That's brilliant. What fantastic teamwork. Hats off.
Yeah.
Hernandi, if you want to come on the mic. If not, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
How was that, mate? Great race.
Yeah, insane. From the moment when Heather pushed me out of the pits in that rain, that's amazing. I wanted to pit. I did want to pit, but
I thought it looked a little precarious, you guys going side by side, but it was just the a bit of luck, a bit of maybe it was fate. Who knows?
Yeah, we did have some luck in the end, but yeah, staying out it turned out to be the right strategy. Obviously, the luck really the main reason to win, but considering what has been happening this season, I feel like it was like some kind of compensation, I guess.
Well, first race win for you, Nuno. Hernandi, can you answer? Was there some temptation right on the last lap just to absolutely send it up the inside to try and go for the win?
not at all.
Oh, boring. Right.
I had it in Imola, but he deserves it.
It's a great 1-2 for both of you. Well done, lads. Absolutely fantastic
Thanks
stuff.
a lot.
Now, JT, P4. Solid race that. Give us your rundown.
Well, I got a good qualifying P3, best quali in quite a while. I just kept it clean throughout the whole race. Didn't get into too many incidents, and kept it on track and just brought it home for a P4.
Very solid. Yeah, great qualifying, great result. What was the scrapping like in that pack? I saw quite a lot of You were down in like 16th at one point, and then you came right back up into the top 10.
Yeah, I got pushed off by Son, I don't know, but sent me very near the back. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I just kept it clean. Must have just got past all the other people making mistakes and the way back.
Pure skill. Is a win on the horizon.
Exactly. Yeah, of course.
Love that. And then Buddha, if you're up for an interview. Third place. Unlucky with the rain. The Inters strategy just didn't work out. How did that one feel? Buddha, no. Oh well. And then finally, thanks R3, I did try. And then finally, let's go to Corvid. P7 in the end. That must have been quite a finish to have that many drivers within about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly happy with that. Very terrible qualifying today. I started in 12th and then I got a good start, but then I immediately got shoved at turn 6 and ended up being last for a couple of laps. So it was just a big recovery drive from there. I had a big issue with the collisions with the ghosting, and I think that cost me 5th in the end, because it lost me a couple of seconds that I had on 6Y.
Right.
And it meant I couldn't really fight when the last lap overtakes came in. But I'm happy with that. It was probably the best we could have done given the situation.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a very solid race there. And anyone in particular you want to point a finger at for why it maybe wasn't a sort of P5? Bit of push and shove here and there.
Not really. I can't really blame anyone in particular because just the ghosting interactions in the bridge were really rough, and I collided with a few drivers like half a lap ahead or behind me a couple of times. That really lost me some time. In terms of overall track battles, I did get shoved quite a lot. I remember one particular shove. I think Kraft on the Inters like punted me super wide into turn 3.
It's the one right at the start where you got swept clean off at the fast right-hander in the bottom left, and you got sent deep there. That was
that's exactly what happened. But nonetheless, we still recovered. I'm happy with how I drove today. The pace was alright. The mediums weren't helpful at the end, but I couldn't really do too much given the situation I had. But yeah, overall happy with that.
solid race. Is there a return perhaps soon for Marion? Do we know anything about that?
Marion is MIA, and I feel like even if she isn't going to return anytime soon, I'm just going to focus on how I'm driving and just to do the best for the team. Salvage as much as we can, hopefully hold on to P4.
Fair enough. Kudos to you. I see we've now got Buddha unmuted. So Buddha, fancy little rundown. Pretty, it was just all came down to that one moment of the double pit stop caused by the rain period. He's unmuted, but he's not talking. Silly man. Right. Okay, we'll end off there. Thanks so much for watching that. That was a very, very entertaining race. Thank you again, R3. And yeah, we'll see you for the next race. It's round 7 coming up in this Ultimate League Season 14 season at Watkins Glen. Racing around the boot should be a great one. But until then, bye-bye.